Hey everybody, this is Mr. McKee again with NET 226. Let me just adjust my camera a little bit so you can see me if you want to see me. Alright, there we go. Alright, today I'm going to be working on Packet Tracer 6.5.6, which is Configure Dynamic NAT. Alright, looks like one of our previous, I believe one of our previous packet tracers. Basically we have router 1 is our, well, I'm not going to say the edge router. Our edge router would actually be right, R2. We have one router inside right here, connected to two, actually, I take that back. 1, 2, 3 LANs. This would be a LAN 2, really, the way they have it set up. And then this is our outside routable address network going out to the internet. And then we have server 1 sitting out there on the internet. And the reason I say that is because when we look at the instructions, it'll make more sense. All right, and we'll also have one laptop on the 11.0 network, and then 2 PCs on the 10.0 network. All right. So what we're going to do is configure dynamic NAT and verify NAT implementation. All right. So part 1, configure dynamic NAT. Step 1 is configure traffic that will be permitted. On R2, configure one statement for ACL1 to permit any address belonging to the 172.16.0.0/16 network. All right. So the reason I was saying that this is even though this might not look like an internal network, you can kind of tell because it's obviously a 172.16.1.0. But see how all 3 of these networks are all 172.16. something, and what it's asking us to do is permit create an ACL that encompasses all of those networks. So a 16 network, because basically we're saying, okay, everything but the 172.16, the first 2 octets, everything else can be network host addresses. So if we have different subnets, that really doesn't matter. As long as we include all those subnets in there, we'll be able to NAT those out to the internet. All right, so let's go ahead and click on R2. And I guess names really don't matter on this packet tracer for the NAT stuff. All right, so let's click on CLI. Let's go to enable, configure terminal. All right, so first thing we do is configure one statement for ACL to permit any address belonging to 172.16.0.0 network. All right, so we're going to do an access list, number 1. And we're just going to permit all those 172.16.0.0, and then a wildcard mask. If I push question mark, if you're like, well, I don't know for sure if it's a wildcard mask or subnet mask, you can do a question mark at the end of that, and it'll tell you. It says wildcard bits right there. So either way, if you do the question mark, you can figure it out. So we're doing a 16, so that's a subnet of 255.255.0.0. So we'll do the opposite of that, 0.0.255.255. All right, so like that, our completion rate went up. All right, so let's see what we got next. All right, so configure a pool of address for NAT. I guess it's supposed to say configure a pool of addresses for NAT. Configure R2 with a NAT pool that uses 2 addresses in the 209.165.200.228 /30 address space. So thinking about that, and notice that it's not on this. It's not in this network. It's out somewhere else. But the reason we're doing that is we're going to do 2 addresses, and the only addresses we can use, because the backslash 30 is can't use 228 because that's the network address, so we can use 229 and 30, 230. All right, and then 231 would be our broadcast address. All right. I know that looks kind of funny because you'd be like, well, I use it there, but no, this is like router to router. So if this is your edge router, you're actually doing addresses that are, these more than likely, I guess, would be provided by the provided by the ISP. I know it looks kind of funny. All right, it says notice that in the topology there are 3 network addresses that would be translated based on the ACL created. All right, and then we'll get to the question in a second. So let's click on R2. So we can do IP NAT pool. And I'm going to name this pole 1. Actually, let's make it NAT POL1, something like that. And then it'll be 209.165.200.229, and then 209.165.200.230. I don't know, every time I want to type, just type 30, but 209.165.200.230. All right, and net mask. Net mask is the 30. So now, obviously, if you do a question mark, see how it says A, B, C, D for all the octets, and network mask instead of up here wildcard bits. Okay. So if we're doing it /30, it's 255.255.255.252. All right. All right, like that. All right. So now here, what would happen if more than 2 devices attempt to access the internet? Well, since we're not using PAT on this, we're only using NAT. If you have translations for 2 computers, like PC1, PC2, L1 is not going to be able to get on the internet until one of those NAT translations in the NAT translation table time out. All right, but we can look at that in a second. All right, so associate ACL1 with the NAT pole. So I just made the NAT pole, and then we're going to associate ACL with it. So IP NAT inside, whoops, inside source list 1, and list 1 is this right there. Access list 1 and then pool, and I gotta make sure I spell this right. Lowercase NAT, uppercase POOL1. Let's put a 2. All right. So that should be that. Now it's associated with it. Now we just got to tell it which is an inside and which is an outside NAT. All right. All right. Enter the command that associates with that, and then configure R2 interfaces with the appropriate inside and outside NAT commands. So I'm going to mouse over this thing. All right. Serial 000 is outside, and serial 001 is inside. All right. So if we do interface serial 000, IP NAT. Oh crap, I did it backwards. So no IP NAT inside. All right, so IP NAT outside. Because usually I'd use a smaller number on the inside. So IP NAT outside. It likes that a lot better. All right, so interface serial 001 is going to be IP NAT. If you do IP question mark, let's see, NAT's right there. IP NAT. The question mark definitely is your friend. So IP NAT, all it lets you do is inside or outside. So we can do inside. All right, so that gives 100%, but now we gotta look at our stuff. All right, so from web browser of L1, PC1, and PC2, access the web page for server 1. All right, so I'm going to do the 209.165.201.5. 209.165.201.5. All right, it works. All right. Well, I'm gonna leave that up. I'm gonna click. I should have copied it. Copy the IP address. 209.165.201.5. All right, that one works. And then PC2 should not work. I'm going to assume that. 209.165.201.5. All right, see how that's not working? Or let's click go and see if it works. All right, so that's not working. All right, request timed out. That's fine. We kind of figured that. Now let's go over here. Let's do exit, exit. All right, show IP NAT translation. All right, now we can see that. Let's see here. So the outside 209.165.200.229, which is our first NAT pull address up here in this network. All right, that is natted to 172.16.11.1 is natted to that, and that should be L1. Let's go. Whoops. Desktop. All right, right there. All right, that makes sense. And then let's go back to here. 209.165.200.230, which is our second natted outside address, is natted to 172.16.10.1, which is probably PC1. Yep, so it's there. So now if I wanted to allow L1 to be able to get to that website, so if I go over here and do clear, I'm going to do clear IP question mark. All right, I can clear BGP, DHCP, NAT, OSPF, and route. So I'm going to clear NAT. I'm going to do a question mark, and then all there is translation. Clear NAT translation. Clear NAT translation. Clear IP NAT translation command. Oh, all. Okay, yeah. So an asterisk for all. And if I do my up arrow, go back to show IP NAT translations, nothing. And if I go over here, go to L1, and I was just thinking about this, like, say a hacker or somebody is like inside of a NAT translated network, which that's normal. You're seeing their outside address, but if they have logging set up, as long as you can get access to their NAT logs, you can tell what computer is, doing whatever it's doing. But if they have logging turned off, like if you go through a VPN that has logging turned off, you can't necessarily ever tell who that computer is coming from, as far as I know. All right, but since logging's usually on, you can tell. But obviously, nobody's gonna let you in their network to look at their logs. But anyways, because you can look at a timestamp, look at the timestamp, what IP address. But now if it's a DHCP assigned address, then you have to go through a DHCP the list in the pool and figure out what and actually drill down until you find the MAC address, and then you can find the actual PC. Until you find that actual MAC address, you're not going to be able to find it. But I was just thinking about that. All right, so let's go and do what we're supposed to be doing before I get off track. 209.165.201.5. All right, now we can access it. And now if we go back to R2, we can do our show IP NAT translations. And what's weird is it's actually duplicated that address. 230, all right, 172.16.11.1, which is that one. So we see right there, it's translated to the 30, the 230 address. And that's it. All right, don't want to spend too much time on that, but I was just thinking about that, how to figure out somebody's actually internal IP address. You'd have to look at the logs, the translation logs for the NAT, and then go over there to the DHCP logs and figure out what MAC address is associated to that IP address. All right, and that's it. Thanks for watching. For this lab, or this packet tracer rather, submit the .pka file, submit the activity results that show, congratulations, you've completed this activity. If you get any of these wrong, go ahead and fix them. All right. For some reason, I did this one time before, like yesterday, and for some reason I couldn't access anything from any of the inside computers out to that server. But I think it was probably a error on my part. But I actually closed down Packet Tracer, opened it back up, and it's on there. And also to let you guys know too, if you're not in my course, but you're in another NetAcad course, this particular Packet Tracer does not let you can't, the link in NetAcad for 6.5.6 Packet Tracer, the link's broken unless Cisco has fixed it. So just know that you'll have to get with your instructor, and in course resources, they can go in there and they can download a zip file with all of the packet tracers for the whole course in there, and then you can give those to me. My regional academy is actually the ones that hooked me up with that info, because I was looking all over NetAcad, but I didn't think about looking. The first place I should have looked was in course resources, because there's a course resources outside of the actual course in your like in your dashboard when you first log into NetAcad, and then there's a instructor resources section down in the course. Go actually back to like the main page for NetAcad, click instructor resources at top, or course resources at top, and then go down to the course resources. And as long as you're an instructor, you should be able to get to those zip files. They have like zip files for all the labs, all the packet tracers, and stuff like that. All right, but that's it. Thanks for watching. See you guys later.